I was a young dreamer that always wanted this, and I'm doing it, and I'm so proud that I get this opportunity to do this.
Welcome to Success Chronicles, where we talk to the rule breakers, and today it's Julie Latta. Have you ever met somebody that is living their dream? Or have you ever wondered what it would be like to actually live your dream? Is it possible? Take a look. Well, Julie, thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited. I watched your Investor of the Year video last week, and I'm so excited to unpack so much of what is in there. But I want to hear directly from you. Tell me a little bit about first of all, tell me about Julie.
Well, thank you. It's so great to be here. So thank you for having this platform and creating the space for this journey to even begin. So my name is Julie Latta. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. My partner is Zachary Hayes. He is born and raised in Arizona, and that's where we live together now. We had both had the dreams of doing a real estate venture for ourselves. I had always wanted to work on HGTV, even as a kid, being like, that'll be me one day. But it really came to fruition when I had the right partner in mind, who found Tax Lien Code for us. And we started working with a company, I believe it was July of last year, to get ourselves going. And I mean, I was so excited for the first meeting we had with you guys, the free half-day seminar. I was apprehensive, of course, at first, but to be able to be where we are today and look back to where we were, I'm so humbled, but also just so inspired by ourselves of what we were able to accomplish. Saying you're going to do something is one thing, but saying it and actually doing it has been such a blessing so far.
Okay, so I love that, and I want to tell me about that. When you say we're so inspired by ourselves, I want to hear more about that. Tell me what inspires you about your journey.
I think the outcomes too, the what we had put in and the process that we had to build, but then the outcomes that we've been able to receive. We started with our first few tax liens, and we actually, I think the first two of them, we received funds on within a month to 2 months. So even if it wasn't a high profit yield right away, it was, okay, well, someone is paying attention, and we're getting money back right away. And then attending every seminar that we did with Tax Lien Code, leading all the way up to the real estate summit. I mean, that was when everything changed for us. And we even did the flyout experience with RG. And being able to know what to look for when you're looking at homes, and know what to think about when it comes to the numbers. But then also seeing the beauty behind, I can enhance our lives with this while also helping others that are in maybe a moment where they need you, because a lot of the purchasing of the real estate's through wholesalers, and they're people who just need the money right away. So being able to learn that way, and then starting to do it and seeing, hey, we're capable of this. We started this with no knowledge, being like, can we? And now here we are being like, okay, we learned, we are still relearning, and we're still doing, and I think being able to see what we're capable of has been the most inspiring part. And it's because of the knowledge and support, I think, too.
Well, you watching your Investor of the Year video, we call this Success Chronicles for a very specific reason. The chronicle of that process and that journey, it's fun to talk to people at the different stages. Some people, it's the mindset at the beginning and what they're accomplishing the first month in or 2 months in. You've been in for about 1.5 years.
Yep.
And you said that it's exciting for you to see the beginning and where you are right now. So take me just quickly through. I want to get to some of the stories in just a minute. But just for the person watching, you bought 4 tax liens.
Yep.
And then you moved into tax deeds. How many tax deeds have you bought?
We have 3 tax deeds.
Okay. And what did you do with them all?
So our first one, actually, it's supposedly selling in 4 days. We're closing in 4 days on one of them. And we should make a very nice profit on that one out in Texas. That was actually purchased at the live auction experience. And the other two.
Hold on. Give me, everybody wants to know the juice. If you have HGTV dreams, you can't just leave us hanging too much.
I know, you're right. Thank you.
What'd you buy it for? And then what is it selling for in 4 days? Any other costs in there as well? We don't have to go line item by line item, but just in general, Give me a breakdown.
So we purchased the tax deed for $80,000.
Okay.
We purchased it November 5th, 2024, and it should be selling December 19th, 2025. We are selling it for $110,000.
Okay.
And we did have a quiet title of $2,500 to go through the legal fees with that.
Okay.
And I believe I did have to pay taxes for the year, which I was still maybe around $1,000 for taxes. Okay. So we will have at least a profit with we did use a realtor for this one because it was out of state as well. So there'll be realtor fees.
So you'll make you'll make $20,000 in a year. That's a nice little, that's a 25% profit in a year. Like, congratulations. That's absolutely incredible. Okay. So that's one of three. You did two more.
Yes. Now the other one isn't as successful as the first one, or this second one that we're having. We purchased 2 tax deeds back-to-back weeks at the Lee County auctions online. One was in Cape Coral, one is in Lehigh Acres. Cape Coral sold about 2 months ago, but what we didn't know when we bought it was there are such things as burrowing owls. Owls that live in the ground, which I just never knew that was a thing. Well, because of that, apparently our piece of land was protected, and it cost about $600 to $900 per nest to have those removed. Luckily, we found a buyer who was like, been there, done that before, but I'm not going to offer you your asking price. And we had to balance that of, okay, do we want to still invest in this and try to get these owls gone, or should we just, sell it and walk away at this point?
Yeah.
We decided, we had other deals going on at the time. It's okay to walk, and we'll learn. We'll learn from the loss. It happens. So I believe, let me just check my numbers really quick. We lost $2,500 on that deal. So not ideal state, but it was our first one, and that's okay.
So, okay, I don't want to stop. I want to come back because there is so much in the journey of losses, of learning. But okay, so let's keep going now. Let's keep going.
And then we have the third one. The third one is in Lehigh Acres. That one we purchased, Lehigh Acres we purchased for $53,000, I think it was. We have not sold that one yet. We did just get an offer recently, but it was for $40,000, which we were like, nope, we did the loss. We're going to stick this one out a little bit longer.
We're gonna stick that
one.
So
still waiting for that third one to sell.
Yeah. Okay. And then you moved into flipping in Phoenix.
Yes.
And I don't want to steal your thunder. Tell me how you're doing.
Yeah, so we did the flyout experience in February, I believe, of 2025 with tax lien code. And then we were still learning our ways. We weren't really finding a lot of the offers that we wanted right away. But come April, we worked with the wholesaler. And we purchased our very first one in that end of April, early May. And we took about 4 months or so to renovate it up until I think we're finally finished in August. That one is actually located close to a hospital. And my corporate career is I work with a travel staffing agency. So I knew that being surrounding a hospital could be a great opportunity to have a furnished rental. So we decided, all right, we're actually going to keep this one. We definitely put in more money than we had thought, being your first one, doing the budgeting, using the Excel sheets that were given to us. But knowing that we were keeping it, I think that was like, it's okay. We're putting a little bit more in, we're keeping it. So we furnished it so that we could rent it out to folks for short or midterm rentals. So that was the first one that finished in August.
And then you have 2 more.
Yep. And then after that, so while we were in the middle of that one, another house came up. It was another family family member was sick. They really needed to get rid of the home. But it was a hoarder home. So that's what I'm learning is we do get a little bit of the messier houses as we start, and that's okay. But so then when we got the keys to that one in July, that one we actually flipped in 2 months. That one is on sale, for sale right now. We are really hoping to sell it before the end of this year. And then about a month and a half ago, we got the keys to our very third one that we are hopefully going to make a very good profit on as well. It's in an even nicer area. So 3 flips in less than about 6 months or so.
Yeah. And all on track for profit.
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about the process. The process of you and Zach from the beginning to now. And I'm curious about that arc, what it looks like. I mean, we all make mistakes. We all learn. I mean, who knew that there was burrowing owls? Like the things that just like, you're like, I no idea. There's a neighborhood in Phoenix that has protected chickens and peacocks. And renovating a house and trying to sell a house that we didn't know that there were chickens and peacocks that ran wild in on, like a $1.3 million house. Like, wild that they have protect. Anyways, it happens, right? Like we learn and we grow. But what has that process been like to understand that you and Zach, like there's going to be challenges and we just have to get through it? What has that taught you and Zach?
So I think the biggest thing that this journey has done for me is mindset, and if you're open-minded and you're reflecting on the situation, you really start to realize your past and how what meant money and investing meant to you. What was your mindset about that growing up, and what was maybe your partner's mindset in that? I noticed, a lot of that. I had a little bit of a scarcity mindset. I need to save your money, save. That's what you do. But then I was challenged by my partner, Zach, who's the complete opposite of me. And he sees the risk that leads to that reward, and risk to me is fearful. So that was in the beginning, working with your partner and really dialing through the financial side of things and understanding, what these pivotal moments could be if you embrace them versus being afraid of them. So I think mindset was the first for me, that I would be willing to embrace with everybody, because I've been there. I've been in is this as good as it seems? Should I really be putting my money into education like this? Should I really be putting my money into this home that is, a hoarder house? I've never seen this piece of land, but I'm going to buy a tax lien for it. Those mental capacities, I think, is the first thing. So before I go on, I would probably say mindset was the first part of the journey. Okay, so real quick then, what did it do to you when your fear is realized? Like, because it's like, well, what if this doesn't work? What if we fail? What if we buy a bad house? And then all of a sudden you have a plot of land that there's burrowing owls and you lose $2,500. And then you buy a house that there's a hoarder, and hoarder houses, I bought them. It's always worse than you think it's going to be. What does it do to your mindset then when you do believe and trust in the process, and then your fear of changing, like you're shifting that mindset, and then you're like, yeah, but what I was afraid of just happened that disproved this new belief that I have. Yeah. How does that feel? Well, thanks for asking such a deep and honest question. It is, because it comes back to that I told you so moment, and especially when you are the apprehensive one and your partner is not, and having to embrace those conversations and wanting to immediately go, I told you so, victim mindset. And it does scare you. I think for me, I had the moment of, no, this cannot be what it is. This cannot be the end. Like, this is a learning process. And I am an instructor for my corporate career as well. And I had to remind myself, I constantly tell my employees, the greatest way to learn is to just try and fall and fail, because you're going to learn all the things that didn't work out. You're going to learn all the things you want to try differently. And you're hopefully going to have the ability to embrace yourself and being like, I'm not giving up. I'm going to try this some more. So it's inevitable. You're going to make mistakes in the beginning. It's being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm not very good at that, but I'm working on it. And I just had to remind myself, I want to practice what I preach to my peers, telling them to try something new. I need to learn and trust in the process myself. So yes, while there are moments of, okay, did we make the right decision? Maybe, maybe not, but are we going to make that same decision going forward? Maybe, maybe not. But if we do, we might do it a little differently now, because we have the new tools in our tool belt that we didn't have before. Well, okay, so let's go back to the beginning then. Would you still choose the same path that you're on today? I would have chosen it sooner. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Did you have opportunities sooner? I did, but I didn't choose them. I think I had,
Okay.
again, I was afraid. I was afraid of doing it alone. Am I going to be able to retain all this information? I'm definitely not an audible learner. So, doing things where people are talking at me, it can be challenging for me to receive, especially when I'm already insecure about the topic. Knowing that someone else has more of the knowledge than I do, how am I going to receive all of this? So I just didn't put myself outside that comfort zone to trust that I could do what was needed to be done and trust in the process. So I think now that I've done it, it's like, you are capable and you really could have done it sooner. Why wait?
I'm just getting all the feels right now. What was the catalyst this time?
I think what got me the most excited, I really loved the real estate summit that I did with you guys. I think that it just, the way we were in person, I loved that. I loved being able to, learn from everybody, the charisma of the instructors, and the way the resources were provided to us. Then going off site and being able to see what we're talking about in real life, go to the homes and being like, here's 3 houses we're going to tour. This is what it would look like if we were to renovate them. And followed by that, we went to the multi-family commercial one. And I was like, we'll never be able to do that. But then going to that meeting and being like, wow, like, I am capable of that too. Like, I'm leaving this empowered and inspired. And like, why was I thinking so small? Why was I not believing in myself when I get to come to these rooms full of the rest of us that all are believing in ourselves? And the leaders that are leading these are like, you can do this. I've done this. You can do it. So I think really embracing the training, and because that's for me, confidence for me comes from knowledge. So to answer that question, it was through the knowledge that I was receiving that led to the confidence to then act on that knowledge that continued to lead that spiral effect of being more excited and connected to the cause.
What would you go back and do differently at the beginning? Or would you?
Yeah, I think, again, it really was mindset for me and just the apprehension. Getting myself a little bit too worked up, letting myself be too nervous, getting in your own way type of thing. If I would have been more calm, clear-headed, maybe I could have received some of the information quicker than I did this round. I would probably say those are the biggest things, is just being more intentional with self, and being like, we're going all in and doing this versus I'm doing this, but I'm still apprehensive, but hey, that was part of my journey. So I don't know if I would ever change it, because I'm really proud to see that version of me a year ago and the apprehension I had to this girl who's sitting here confidently on this call with you being like, let me tell you all why this is worth it.
Okay, so has it been worth it?
It has 100% been worth it. 100%.
Where does that, like our society, and I could probably go off on my own opinions, but I want to hear yours. Where does our society fail in that regard? Meaning, you came in apprehensive. Kids aren't birthed apprehensive and scared. It's kind of terrifying sometimes having kids. I've got 4 boys, and every time, like, just watching them grow, especially the beginning, they're not scared. Like, they're walking and they're falling and hitting everything, and they always have goosebumps, and they're always like breaking, feels like they're gonna break themselves. They don't come out scared of things. How do we build that in ourselves so that we are apprehensive? We're scared of failing, and we set these expectations for ourselves. How did we get there, and how do we break it?
I think where I faced what you're kind of alluding to too is there is the fear of judgment. There's the fear of societal norms. Like, this is what everybody thinks is successful. This is what everybody deems as where you should be at life. I listened to a podcast and it said, stop shoulding on yourself. Because there's oftentimes it's saying like, I should be here, I should be there, I should do this.
Yeah.
And I think it's very hard as a generation to not care what other people think, because we are surrounded by social media. We are surrounded by, some of these false ideals that we believe we are supposed to be. And I didn't share my journey right away. I was like, I don't want people to know what I'm doing. And it was 2 things. It was, fear of judgment, because not other people weren't doing what I was doing. Are they going to be like, what are you doing? Like, are you investing in the right thing? Like, why would you do that? Why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z? But then I also was doing it because I feel like there's power in moving in silence. This is my journey and I don't need to broadcast it, outwardly as well. So it was that balance of both, of worrying what society would think versus what I really wanted for myself. And it's that comparison, which is the thief of joy. And I think if we could live in a place where we're freer to just let them be as they are, I think that's where that apprehension would go away, because we are acting authentically to who we are actually being.
So I want to hear about your authentic self. You talked about the approval of society. We all have to balance that. It's so hard when you realize, but at some point you realize, or I have, that nobody actually really truly cares. I used to be so worried about everybody else's opinion of me. And then there was a click in my head to realize that most people never even are thinking about me. Most people don't actually care. We're so worried about making everybody else happy. And then you realize that nobody's actually thinking about you in their free time. The amount of people that do, your spouse, your family, your closest friends, but nobody else really cares. So tell me about Julie. What are your goals? What are your ambitions? What are you trying to create for yourself now?
I think we all want to be free, and defining what free means is what it comes down to. And for me, I want to be free. And I think I want to have, what free means to me is just more peace. I think peace comes from being more grounded, more connected to self, which are eliminating a lot of the things we just talked about, is that judgment or inner critic. But I also want to live for myself and do what I want to do, not for somebody else's purpose and reason. And chasing after whatever it is that makes me happy every day, my partner happy every single day. And we want to be real estate moguls. We truly do. We want to have an empire. Him and me together, we are going to have an empire, and, work hard now so that we can live the life of our dreams, travel more, become more educated, culturally throughout the U.S., throughout the world, have more expansive opportunities with our travel. So I think there's that. Then that dials into being able to give back, giving back more to the community with our time, not just our money, because we have the time to be able to give back. So making that difference in our story, changing our literal generational pathways forward, generational wealth. There's just a lot that we want to chase that's our own, that's self-built, self-made, that's not societal norms. And that being okay to break those barriers and be we are going to get where we want to be, and it's going to be on our pathway, no one else's.
I hope you're writing all that down. You have a little dream board or a journal. I hope that there is some pen and paper at work or a computer. I hope that's all written down in journal, because it was incredible.
Thank you.
One of the things that's helped me is I get to teach the expo 3 times a year. And it is so empowering for me just to be in a room of people that are excited. And I love watching new students. I love watching new investors come into that room, because I hear it over and over and over again. They're leaving an environment of fear and doubt. All their immediate friends and family that don't believe, that have that skepticism still, and are maybe telling them you shouldn't be on this journey, or you have a great career, which it sounds like you did as well, or do. And then they get in this room of people that are similar, that have similar goals, that are in the similar mindset. They might be on a different part of their chronicle, and they might be a different part of their story, but they're endeavoring for the same thing. And I love watching those interactions. And then I love seeing it on Discover. I love the conversations, and I love the chats, and I love how much that community grows. What's it been like for you to be surrounded by people like Eric at the summit saying, you can do this, I've done it, you can do it, or Scott Lamb at the commercial class that are saying, look, this is what I've done, and you're capable. And then all of these other cheerleaders in the room saying, hey, Julie, you can actually do this.
Yeah. I think it really is. When you're walking into the room and you're already apprehensive, you've got those feels, but then the staff and the leaders of Taxing Code are just so embracing, like the energy is immediately dialed up. You just feel a shift in your body as you walk through, and you're seeing everyone else that you get to collaborate with that are, like you said, like-minded. It really does enhances your being in that moment. You're just feeling your body radiate because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. For once, you're not denying yourself the path that you dream of. Because for once in that moment, you are living yourself authentically as you are, and you're surrounded by others that are willing to do the same thing. They're going to do the hard work. They're going to have to learn alongside of you, and you're going to learn and listen from those that were in your seats several years ago. So I feel like that's been really empowering to be a part of. And then even meeting some of the individuals that were volunteering and just giving up their time to be there because they believed. No one asked them to do what they were doing. They choose every time to show up and support and just be a little bit of a mentor alongside the people on stage. And I think it does. It really charges you up to know, like, I'm doing what I need to do for me. And it is about you in that moment and the journey that you were put here to do. And now you're finally chasing it.
One of the, I love the ambition. I love the story. And what's, I think, most impressive to me, there was a time in my career where I got to train and teach a lot in this world in real estate, and I was traveling a lot, and I loved it. I absolutely enjoyed it so much. And one of the things flying every single week, right? They get on, you're sitting in your seat, and they talk about the oxygen. Like if there's ever a turbulence, oxygen will pop down, which the first couple times I heard, I thought it was so strange, but they always talked about covering yourself and taking care of yourself first, right? Like before you help your kids or your partner, you have to put your oxygen mask on yourself before you can help the person next to you. You're changing your trajectory first. Yeah. And that's such an important thing to realize that first I got to work on me. I got to change my motivation. I got to change my mindset. I've got to work on me, but then you want to be a mogul. Then you want to change and affect, but you had to do it for yourself first before you can help anybody else. And you're on your way. I mean, in a year, I'm so excited for this Investor of the Year. I'm excited for that voting. I'm excited to see who wins because there's so many cool stories. But as you go through that, what would you tell somebody in your situation or that's just starting their journey? What piece of advice, now that your trajectory has changed and you've pivoted and you're on a growth that's completely different than you were a year and a half ago, looking back, what's the piece of advice, knowing where you came from and the worries and the fears and the skepticism that you had, what advice would you give yourself that would have actually made an impact and unique and different?
It's funny that you say that because I was doing some reflecting about last week when I hit my anniversary with my corporate job and just thinking about where I was then when I started to where I am today and, what I would say to my younger self, and I think in those moments when you're starting something new and you're afraid, and then seeing your success down the road, being able to I wish I could just hug that version of me and say, guess what? You're right. This is scary, but I cannot wait for you to see where we're going to be in a year from now, and I think it's trusting in yourself. It's giving yourself the grace. We all are our own worst critic. We can be critical on ourselves, and there are times where sometimes we're harder on our own selves than anybody else could be. But beating ourselves down isn't going to get us to where we want to go. Having authentic conversations with ourselves and being challenging of hey, maybe I need to approach a situation differently is one thing, but being kind to yourself, believing in yourself, taking everybody else's excitement around this experience for you and feeling it within you for you. I think that's the biggest thing for me is just being kind to myself, and believing in myself. I started saying, throughout the journey, I kept saying the word, I am capable. I am capable. I needed to hear that because I did have doubt. I had fear of the judgment of those around me. And I just had to remind myself, Julie, you got this. You are capable. And this organization you're choosing to invest in is choosing to invest back in you so that you are successful. So how can it not work out?
I love that. I'm trying to take notes and I so many good comments and I'm ferociously writing all this down, but I love going back and rewatching. And I hope you get a chance to as well, because there's going to be a moment where you're experiencing hardship again, where like there's something that's going to be hard in your business, that you make an error, you lose something, and going back and rewatching this and giving yourself another virtual hug and be like, you got this, do it afraid. I love this idea of trusting yourself, but I love even more the giving yourself some grace. And understanding like we're not perfect, but we, giving ourselves that room to have opportunities to be better, to fail and be better. Who's been your biggest cheerleader?
Zach, my partner, because he's a lot different than I am. He's the logic of all of this. I'm the emotion of all of this. And as you come to learn through this, you can't have the emotion side when it comes to finances and investing. So having that opposite mindset of my own, also being the same person that's doing this with me, has been really supportive, because he's helping me ensure that my fear doesn't get in the way, because we have each other.
You mentioned judgment. And one of the things that I think is really, really interesting that I've experienced so many times in my life is the people that are judging you are most often the people who haven't done what you've done. Because the people that have done what you've done and are maybe ahead of you, maybe financially or just on the road that you're going down, are usually so much more compassionate, and they're usually so much more helpful. Like, I don't know that I've ever felt judgment from the people that I view above me. And it's not just a financial thing. I don't think it's a wealth thing. I think that the people that have been married longer than I have, that maybe they do have a little bit more money than I do, that I would view them as more successful in that area of my life, I don't feel judgment from them. I feel like those are the people that are the most helpful, that are saying, hey, this is how you fix, or this is how you become better, or this is the progress or the path of my journey. Let me help you on your journey to get where I am. It's the people that aren't there yet. The people that, like, for some reason, that's the people that I feel like are more judgmental than the people that are ahead of you.
Yep, I can agree with that. I think, again, it's scarcity mindset. It's societal norms. It's what you were raised to think is the only way to think, but someone's thinking outside of it, and I sometimes just have to remind myself that their journey is their own journey, and that doesn't mean that it needs to be mine. And the lens that they're seeing life through is their lens. It doesn't need to be mine. And it's going to be the people that are more critical, that may have not done what you're going to do. And that should speak louder to us of, don't listen to them. But yet we listen to those voices, sometimes ouder than the ones that are doing exactly what we're doing. And again, I think that also comes down to self. That comes down to self and where we're feeling stable enough and committed to what we need and want versus what everybody else is saying around us. One thing that helped with tax lien code was shifting that mindset to when people say, what do you do? Don't just tell them the first thing you do for your corporate career. It's say that I'm an investor. And I'm still working on that. I love that, saying like I'm an investor. And then another thing that tax lien code said was the amount of people that you tell that you're an investor, their first thing is going to be like, oh, I've always wanted to do that. And you guys said that. And now every person we tell that we do this, the first response is, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to do that. Oh, that is so cool that you're doing that. And I'm like, yeah, we're the story that's living the reality that everyone else dreams about. That was totally unintentional, and I nailed that.
You nailed. How does that feel to realize that you are living somebody else's dream?
It's humbling because it's also mine. Like I was a young dreamer that always wanted this, and I'm doing it, and I'm so proud that I get this opportunity to do this. But it shows you right then and there what I want my younger self and any of those of you that are starting out now. The moment you're starting out is the moment you're showing yourself you are brave. And then everything that's going to come after this day, you're going to have moments to look back and say, I did that. I am worthy. I am courageous. I am capable. And it just takes that first step, because now I get to be the voice and the face of what everybody wishes they could do, because I chose me and my path forward.
Yeah, you nailed that. You absolutely nailed that.
Thanks.
Well done.
It was truly authentic. I didn't know what was happening until it happened. Then I was like, damn, that was good.
And just so you know, we're not editing any of that out. That's all going in. Okay, so one maybe final question.
Okay.
Being the dream, being that person, I love having this. Are you on Discover?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that I love about Discover is seeing both sides of this community. I love seeing the people that are getting in, that are nervous, they're apprehensive, they're skeptical, they're scared, and they're asking all these questions. But I love seeing the other side. I love seeing the Julie that's like, hey, you got this. And seeing the support and the excitement. I'm like, hey, look, I'm living the dream. You just have to keep going. What has it been like for you to experience the community, to experience Discover, and this group of people that hopefully are genuinely pretty excited and encouraging and helpful on there?
In a world that can be challenging, and a time where you question a lot of things, and the world is questioning a lot of things, and that your surroundings can be even unsteady, to enter a space where we all have one goal, one dream, one mission. We're surrounded with this passion, this excitement. It is just radiating. It's captivating to be a part of something when the rest of the world around you is doing something different. And I feel like it just really hones you into your true, where you're going, where's your purpose, where's it's taking you. And while everything else might seem crazy, you get to really experience these good moments with people that are also chasing them with you. And I think buzzwords I've used, like, it really is empowering. It brings joy to my heart to see people trying it out for the first time and being like, just seeing their excitement. Like, it makes me excited even more. Like, I'm excited what I'm doing. Oh, now you're excited and I see this. Like, dang, I'm so lucky. Let's keep going. Like, let's do this together. So I think, it's really empowering to be surrounded by like-minded individuals in a time where the outside world is noisy and loud in different ways. This one is the way to make it pure and exciting.
Well, you absolutely nailed it. I actually do have one last question.
Okay.
I told you that was my last one, but this one is probably my last one. What is the obstacle that is in your business right now that you have been avoiding? That you have been like, okay, I know I need to overcome. I know this is my next step. I know this is the thing that's holding me back, but you haven't been ready to actually overcome. What is the hurdle that you still have?
I think for us, maybe where it could come from is financials. I know private money is an opportunity, embracing those type of conversations with individuals versus just doing the hard money lending. I think that's something that we could learn more about if we want to take on more projects at one time. I also think the taxes side of the business, that's like a whole nother language that I just wish someone could download it all into my brain and be like, here's all the write-offs, here's the things you need to know, like here's how to be a genius when it comes to your LLC's taxes. I think that's just another level up that I will be so proud of myself when I get through. It is really understanding that more of those logistical sides of the business.
Okay. Well, I've got all the confidence in the world in you.
Thank you.
Hearing your story and what you've done and how you've gotten to where you are today, you're going to go out and you're going to raise all the money that you need for those projects, and just go find a good tax accountant. It's so much easier.
Yeah, it really is. That's great.
Good.
Great.
Well, I'm going to mark it down on my calendar because I want to follow up in 6 or 12 months from now. I want to see where Julie is six months from now, 12 months from now, because we're going to probably laugh at this one and realizing how far you've come and where you've gotten 12 months from now, that I just want to have a repeat, if that's okay.
I agree. I am so ready for that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Julie, so much. So many notes. I'm excited for everybody else to see this, but thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you to TaxLink Code.
Every time I have one of these conversations, I feel like I have so much reflection about me and my life and my journey. One of the things that she talked about was finding peace and happiness and joy and being content where she was. And as soon as she found that, as soon as she realized that she wanted more, and was capable of more and had these goals and ambitions and dreams, but she was willing to be happy where she was, that enabled her to grow and achieve her dream. And it was so exciting for me to hear her talk about living her dream and having fulfilled that dream. It's something that I hope and I work for everybody to accomplish. I feel blessed in my life, blessed to be living my dream. And it was great to talk to Julie and hear her say, I'm living my dream. Can't wait for you to be living your dream.